Welcome back, guys. I am Blair Armstrong, one of the co-hosts of Old Guys Still Rock. You have reached episode number 36. And today, my other co-host and very good friend, Brent Wright, will be coming on here shortly. And we are going to be talking about thinking small, the advantages and disadvantages of thinking that way, and the ripple effects it can have not only in ourselves, but society in general. So enjoy this episode. In the meantime, we really want to express thank you so much for all your support. Thank you so much for sharing all of our episodes and following us. And if we can help somebody else, don't be afraid to go ahead and press that share button or send somebody the link, whatever is easiest for you. Until then, guys, have a great day. Enjoy this episode, and we can't wait to see you on the other side. Take care. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back. You have reached Old Guys Still Rock. If this is your first time here, I am Blair Armstrong. On my right is Brent Wright. We are two guys that are still rocking in our 50s. I got a couple of years in this guy, but sometimes it's hard to say. I'm a fresh age of 55, which was a weird one for me. But anyway, I am Blair Armstrong. I'm a part of Team Armstrong Caldwell Baker. You can kind of see that right behind me. And as I said, on my right is my good friend for almost 30 years, is Brent Wright with Brent Wright Incorporated. He's kind of the guru of business. And when we get into the business part of this, he's kind of been through it all, owner of multiple business from wellness centers to body shops to payroll companies and some different things. And it's taken him many years. This just did not happen overnight. So when we get into the business and we get to the weeds of business and sometimes where these conversations will go, we look to him. Now, I'm still up and coming. I've made some decisions, of course, time, but he's always been one of the guys out there. So if you want to check us out, again, Blair Armstrong, that's me, and Brent Wright Incorporated. Follow us on Instagram. We'll be good to go. So,
yep.
Brother, how the heck are you, man?
Doing good. Just looking forward to the springtime. We had a sunny day this week and changed everybody's attitude. It was a miracle.
Hey!
It was a bloody miracle.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Well, we are having wet weather down here. It has rained for the past 2.5 days. Yes, I'm complaining because we lived in a land of spoiled children. Southern California actually stands for spoiled children. That's where I live. And we like sunshine, shorts, and T-shirts. And it's been jeans, heavy coats, and beanies.
Oh, geez.
And it's very weird for us. And I know, sorry, right? But that's just where we live.
I have 41 today, so yeah.
I woke up to 42 today.
But it's a high of 41 today, Blair.
Come on, man. Let me fit in. Here. Hey, I want to read you something real quick.
Okay.
I got this from one of our listeners yesterday, and it was pretty awesome. I'm not going to mention the name on here. But so anyway, we are on episode number 36, actually, today. So I sent out this was to a newer listener. She was out and about doing her walk and listened to episode number 35. So it said, just listen to episode 35 of your podcast while walking today. It really hit home. I can't remember if I told you, but in 2022, I started a health journey and lost 50 pounds, which I've still continued to keep off. Right.
Good job.
Part of my why I have chosen to live out loud is so I can help others with their own journey and help me accountable to myself. Keep up the good work and look forward to listening to more. So
awesome.
You know who you are. We're going to send you episode number 36 if you haven't subscribed anymore, but we really thank you for sharing that. It's a vulnerability, especially when you lose so much weight. It's a massive weight on people's shoulders. I think April has gone through it. My wife has gone through it. I have gone through it. At one point, I was 217 pounds, 475 on a body that's supposed to be about 185. So it's a journey, and it really plays with your mind. So congratulations on doing that. We are here to support you.
Yep.
Keep listening to our episodes. What I think if you don't mind, I actually sent her back and said, listen to our past episodes, especially the one with guests. I really want her to come on here.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to come on here for the reason of it's just, you're talking to, you feel like you're talking to 2 million people, but it's just different. So
Yeah,
anyway, man, I wanted to share that with you.
that's awesome.
We saved one more starfish, brother.
Amen. Only takes one. Only
Yeah.
takes one.
So what are we going to get into today, brother? What are some of the things you want to talk about? Let's dive into it.
Yeah, so I sent you a text, and you chose one. I had two that were on my brain today. Playing small. Who's it going to be if it's not you? And then The Punisher. Have you ever watched that movie, The Punisher? Like, good movie, right? And so I was like, that one's kind of been weighing on my heart. Like, how do you act when things get tough? And you chose today for being, for playing small. So this one, super important to me because I've played small most of my life. Your description of me when we were in BNI together was that I was the silent but deadly guy. I would, nobody'd hear from me all year long until the results came in. And then I'd have 892 referrals and all the stuff, and $2 million worth of referrals. And you're like, where the heck did Brent come from? Like, what the heck, And so part of the reason that we're doing this is because we want people to come on here. We want you to tell your story. We want you to share your wins. We want you to share your losses. Part of me doing this podcast is because I decided about 2.5 years ago to stop playing small. I was going to let people know what I was doing, good and bad. And I was going to let people know who I was and what I stood for, what my core values were, and to really share my experience, to share. I mean, it's only 50 going on 52 years this year, but there's a lot of experience in there. I've lived a lot of lives in that scenario. I mean, I've had business partners who've crapped on me and robbed me of money. I've lost houses. I've gone through a divorce. I've done a whole slew of things, good and bad. Again, things that I thought were good and things that I thought were bad. April and I, we lost multiple babies before we had our beautiful daughter, Emma. There's a journey right there that we could talk. That's a whole episode, maybe two, prior relationships. I lost a baby during childbirth. That was a tough one. And so I think people need to hear about all your wins and all your losses. I call it's an 8-second society right now. All we hear about the clips, the highlight reel of what all the cool stuff that happened to them and stuff like that. I've been pretty adamant and pretty active in posting. I mean, you saw the wellness center under 3 inches of water, right after we got done spending a bunch of money remodeling it, and had to go back in and reclaim some of that and redo some of that. I mean, that for me is what playing small has been to me, is not letting people know these things, building, a real estate portfolio that I've been very blessed to be able to build, and I'm continuing to try to build every day. A lot of people don't even know that about me. And, a lot of folks don't understand when I sleep or how I sleep. And I've shared with you my whole regimen of sleep schedule, all my supplements, all my vitamins, all my food, all of that to try to help you to grow. Right. And so, who is it going to be if it's not you?
Yeah. I think that's great, man. By the way, I've started getting up at 3:30.
Good job.
Because your voice is in my head.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't understand what we're saying, go watch last week's
35.
episode, Making Choices. It has actually been a game changer, bro. I'm not so rushed, and I'm getting done early. But anyway, go back and watch episode number 35.
On that, just getting up early may not be the solution for you, right?
But
getting up early, but getting up early and or getting up at a different time, but also forgiving yourself for the fact that you didn't get up. Right. So it's really what we talked about. That tool that I shared was changing and reframing if things don't go your way, because not everything can follow a schedule. Not everything can go your way every day.
Right.
But you have to be able to reframe.
Yeah, but yes, I hear you when you say that. And I just was saying that um, in the past, I was still waking up at 3:15, 3 o'clock in the mornings. This is what time my internal alarm clock goes off. And I would sit there and like, okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep. And all of a sudden, it's 4 or it's 4:15, or you overslept and it's 4:30. Now you're behind. So there's a point of it's not being on schedule. I'm not waking up on 3:30 on purpose. It's just what time life starts in my head. And so, but laying there doing nothing or scrolling through Instagram or whatever, just because you don't get out of bed, it's a waste of time to me.
Yeah.
So my mindset, again, it's a choice, which we talked about last week, is like, okay, you can sit here and do nothing, or you can get up and really start attacking the day. And that's what a cup of coffee, some devotionals, and then going to the gym and doing those different things. So that's just what I want to do, because it wasn't doing me anything laying in bed for 45 minutes doing nothing.
Yeah.
When we could be more productive and not being and then getting 45 minutes later, if something's not ready, the longer you procrastinate, and there's a bigger thing about this, and we're going off tangent for a second, but the longer you procrastinate, it just has a ripple effect for the rest of the day. You're always striving to get up because something may not happen now, but whatever. So go back and listen to episode 35. It'll tell you a lot about this, but I want to go back into, making choices. And I think you said something that I heard the other day. We have become would you said something like an 8-second society, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so everything, like we watch, if you spend too much time on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, it's like, you're just scrolling, and our comprehension is, what's in 8 seconds. Andy brought up something in a past episode, it's probably about a week old, is like, when's the last time that you're sitting down watching a movie that you didn't pick up your phone just to look? Just to look like, hey, I can hear what's on the movie. We're not locked into anything. And that's why it was, going off of our subject, which you're talking about, is we have to get back. We don't have to. We're just suggesting that we get back to, some decisions to make choices. But are we going to play small, or are we going to use the things that have been given us to make ourselves better? It makes sense what I'm saying.
Well, and make an attempt to show other people how to go through the process, because in an 8-second world, nobody is seeing the process, right? So all you see if I post all of my rentals is that Brent has a bunch of rentals, right, and he's successful, and he's this or that, or you can ascertain whatever conclusion from that you want in an 8-second reel or an 8-second post, right? But what you don't see is the blood and guts of it, right? I have 2 rentals this year have been completely destroyed by tenants, and I've had to put over $100,000 into each of them. That kills off the profit for a couple of years or 3 years, almost 3 years. It kills off the profit. And there's no recourse in our beloved state and county and city. There's no recourse. The tenants can do whatever they want, and I can't do anything about it. I found a loophole, though. I found where I can do something about it. We'll not talk about it here, but I'll talk about you later. So,
but I think that it's going on. We'll stay in that common thread though of the instantaneous society. That's what keeps us playing small, right? We see others that this looks like a gratuitous life, right? I can go ahead and be on airplanes and cars, which half of that stuff is not fine, or all my successes and stuff like that. The problem with that is sometimes that affects us who are watching it. To me, this is again, my thoughts. You don't have to believe in this or believe in what Brent says. We're right most of the time. I'm just saying these are our thoughts, and we probably have some common threads somewhere. The thing that I worry about with this 8-second life is we look at like, God, I wish I could do that. God, I wish I could be that person. What you said earlier is we want to hear about your losses because like, oh, okay, that guy is me. He got through it, right? I paid $100,000 to go ahead and renovate my rentals that were trashed, and now it set me back. Do I sell it or do I fix it?
Yeah.
Selling it is playing small. Fixing it is playing big, right? I mean, we're going to carry this out. We're not just stopping because we had the setback.
You don't give up,
right? We talked about this, and Brent and I always have these great conversations. And one day instead of a book, we're going to release a string of videos of golden nuggets. We're going to call it the Golden Nugget Hour.
That's right.
But anyways, going through again, most of you guys have watched this or follow us on there. Our foundation is through the Bible and God and believing in that. So, going through the book of Job right now, or actually just a couple of days ago, and then starting the book of Exodus right now, which again is all in the kind of Old Testament and really a part of the Jewish faith and all that stuff. But the point of it is if you look at Job and any of those, even if you don't have faith, I would definitely pick up a Bible and read the book of Job.
Make you feel better.
Dude, your life is really easy
Yeah.
compared to Job, and it's documented and it's been brought out there. So go back and read that. It's actually probably one of the best business books and self-motivator books you can ever get.
Yeah.
And it's the most bought book in the world. It's always number one in the world.
Yeah.
But with that being said is those guys, regarded the circumstances, could have quit thinking small. Moses could have quit. He had a pretty good life. He was supposed to be taken out because that's the way that government at that time was being run, that no boys could survive and only girls who could survive, but he was protected, went under the government. However, he didn't succumb to that government's way of life. He kept staying. What was the bigger picture? How do I protect people? How do I make people better? How do I, even though this regime is running now, it won't run forever. How do I keep the society getting better and better and better and surviving? So I think that's what I hear you say, Brent, is even though that you had these setbacks and even though that I have setbacks, we could stop right there or we can continue to go ahead and get better. And really, it's not so much about us stopping that if it will affect us, but it affects more people for us doing that because, as we said last week, we're under a microscope.
Yeah.
Right?
So, the thing about the rental, and I'd even actually considered it. I reached out to one of my mentors and I said, I've talked to a bunch of people. My CPA said, why do you keep doing this? This is not sustainable. You should sell your rentals as soon as you get them fixed. Just flip them and be done. My bookkeeper, same thing. I called my mentor and I said, I'm getting told by a bunch of people in my life who mean a lot to me and their opinion means a lot to me that I need to be done with these. And he said, well, you can't take their opinion into consideration, but sleep on it, pray on it, decide for yourself what you're going to do. I've never known you to give up. Why would you give up today? And so I sat down and I penciled out what that rental's made me over the last 10 or 12 years. And if I drop $100,000 into it, I'm still money up. So why would I get rid of it? Yes, the political climate is not conducive to being a landlord in our area. It's not great. But if I use that as a reason to give up, then I'm playing small. I'm allowing other outside influences to drive my decisions, to drive my success, right? Because that's ultimately what we're talking about.
Right.
Is nobody buys a rental thinking, I'm just going to break even. You buy a rental to try and make money, to try and solidify a legacy for your family, to try and solidify cash flow, to try to I did it to replace cash flows. When my wife decided that we wanted to build a family and that we wanted to go through the process of having her be a stay-at-home mom, we made that decision. And I had to figure out how to provide cash flow for that for the next 9 or 10 years, however long she decided to do that. And she said, let's do it. So we did. and that rental has fulfilled that obligation. Well, what's the next obligation for that rental? I just have to figure that out, right?
Right.
And go from there. But it's easy to say, well, in my political climate, it's tough, so I'm just going to give up and I'm going to sell my rentals. It's real easy to say, well, it's tough because the tenant crap house the house and now I have to rebuild it. All new floors, all new everything, right? And so do I just give up? Do I just roll over? Is that playing small? I believe it is.
Yeah,
I just
I
give
agree.
up, right? If I let outside influences dictate my plan and my successes and my failures, I believe that I'd be playing small.
Well, and then going with that too, I agree wholeheartedly with what you said, but that's the way that society is, right? Right now,
Yeah.
it's easier to quit than to go forward.
Yeah.
It's easier not to fight for your marriage than to fight for your marriage.
Yeah.
Now, I understand there's different circumstances for marriages, but
For
a lot
everything.
of
For
for
everything.
everything,
Right?
right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying to it, I am the more. Sometimes Brent will put wheels on me, and this is I think it doesn't matter. I'm going to say it. I think the political climate has us all scared because we don't know who we're going to offend, and we don't want to be the outcast, and so we do think small. We do hold back. I I have said this. Brent has said this a different way. I have a different way of vocalizing it, but I believe it is time for us. You can go ahead. It's time to let your voice be heard in the right way. I don't say to go out there and protest and walk around and
But do that
F,
if that's what you want to do.
yeah, do it. But the FJBs and Trump sucks and all that stuff. We are two guys that are so middle of the road. We just want to have a better America and better relationships, no matter what side you sit on. So, if you don't know us, that's where we're coming from. That's why we do this show.
We're not promoting a tea party, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't condemn it either.
I want to, yeah. And I would say this, I heard something today and it's making sense. And so you guys have got this far into our episode, we appreciate it. But I will say this because it's going to kind of point to this. The stuff that we mention on this, when we put this out on YouTube, we have words that we use in our podcast and we're not afraid of because it's our foundation to us. And there is things that YouTube doesn't like us to say. And so sometimes our stuff does not get all the way out to what we are to. Brent and I are figuring why is this episode getting 75 looks and this episode is getting 3?
We get shadow banned.
We do. So It is what it is. So if you're watching this,
thank you.
Thank you. Share the freaking show because even though we hashtag it to try to get different things into this, share it, watch it, give it to your friends. And that's where we're just letting you know. So if you kind of say oh my God, these guys only got 5 episodes, really listen to the words that we're saying and it'll justify it. YouTube is supposed to be super neutral. They're just not that way. But we're still using this channel to be that way.
And on top of it, our demographic that listens to us, quite frankly, our demographic and struggle with technology.
Yeah.
Some people, I've had to send them the link because they don't know how to look us up on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then when I tell them go ahead and like us and then log in and follow us, they're like, how do I do that?
Yeah.
So if you struggle with that, reach out to us. We will help you. We struggle with technology sometimes too. So
go watch our early episodes. It's a joy. But going back to I think that is, we have been suppressed to be small time thinkers this way because it's just easier. We won't ruffle the feathers. We won't go ahead and hurt somebody's feelings. We don't think some of the stuff that we do see through social media and through news is so grandiose that we're we could never accomplish that. I'm not saying all of us think that way, but there is a large form of us. And that's why we get back to, we start relying on government stuff. We start relying on different things. We start the we start forecasting our businesses because what other people that have no idea what our businesses are all about are telling everybody. And so it makes everybody believe that's what's really going on. I'm in the world of real estate. You know how many experts I run into real estate every day that have no idea what's going on in real estate, but it's what they see on TV. And it's 2 or 3 opinions that form the opinion of millions of people. And so and those are just some of those are my hurdles about that. I mean, very fortunate to be a part of a great country club out here. We got it was a great situation, but those are my conversations when I'm out there with different people, either at dinner or playing golf. Hey, I heard this. What do you think about this? And they will give me stuff. Well, I heard this. And I'll just flat out say, that's BS. It's not even close to being correct. And that changes the mindset. And again, I'm talking about my world, and I'm sure Brent has some examples in his world, but go to the source, not to some guy that's getting paid thousands of dollars just to give you a sound bite and not really give you the stuff or throw a bunch of graphs up there, right?
Well, I'll take it one step further. So had you read this statistic that I'm going to share with you before we started this podcast, would you have wanted to start this podcast? So in 2023, there were 857,000 new podcasts started in 2023. We started in 2023. If you had read that statistic, would you have wanted to start this knowing that we were one of 857,000 that were going to be sucking up the bandwidth of other people's 8-second worlds? And maybe we wouldn't have gotten a following from it. Clearly, we don't have 500,000 followers.
Right.
So where did those people go? They went to the 857,000 others, right? But in your head, what's your first reaction when you hear that?
Yeah.
Like,
maybe we try a different avenue, right?
It's going to get lost in the shuffle, right? But we did it anyways, is my point, right? We did it because we decided that we wanted to not only do this for us, but we wanted to try and help others, regardless if it's 500,000 people or if it's one. I think that's really what we're talking about here is stop playing small, stop thinking small, stop making your intent to make a big splash. You don't have to make a big splash. You just have to make one little drop into the water to create the ripple.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. If you go back and look at stats, it's probably not the thing because everybody and their dog is doing them, right? But here we are not telling you what to do. We're sharing experiences. And I think that's what makes us different. We're also relying on our faith and see what our purpose is. We're living our purpose. We're in the body. God made us. God made Brent different. God made me different. We are very, very good friends, but we have 2 different DNAs, 2 different lives, but we've come together. But at the end of the day, he's gonna let us know how far we're gonna go. But it's up to us to pursue. Right, my word of the year: pursue, and go ahead and. Or I think what was yours? Uncomfortable.
Mine's unreasonable.
I said uncomfortable, but unreasonable. But those are the 2 things I just say to you is we can't take what is, what's instantaneous of, oh my God, this is great because there's a flash into the pans. You all have a purpose. I know a lot of you know this, but sometimes you need to hear it a little bit different from someone who's just a regular guy selling real estate. And I hope to have a relationship with you. And I hope that relationship is not just over in the course of time while we're here on earth, but when we get up to see Jesus. Those are the relationships that Brent and why this podcast is so important. These relationships that we create with you are eternal. They're never ending. Some of you guys will want to be a part of that. Some of you guys may not want to be a part of it. That's okay. But we're still not going to just stop because, we only got 3 likes this week. We better just shut it down.
Yeah.
It's not why we're here, because if we do that, then we're just another podcast looking for monetary value of information that really doesn't have anything. That is why, if you go back to the beginning of this podcast, why I mentioned what Brent does, he's been through it. He's helped me. I've been through a lot. And if you look on paper, I'm not as successful as Brent, but I bet you if you looked at it and dug us apart, there's more successes that I've had with him than he has. But that's the best thing about this, right? Is we're both pursuing different things, and we may be on different paths, but we've both been successful in different things that others haven't.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. So I cry, he doesn't cry. So I mean, that's just
you're like Billy Bob on that movie Varsity Blues. Is Blue. Right? He's a bit of a crier.
So what? It's going to show this. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm not going to show it today, but I want you guys to take a big Toby Keith fan, big country western fan. And this is total side note, but go watch this video. Don't let the old man in. It hit home. I was going to play it, but I figured I'd start crying because it's just kind of about life, as you know, is we're constantly we're pushing, and all of a sudden, our genre of people that are watching this is we start getting a little bit older, bones creak a little bit more, dealing with certain health issues and stuff like that. Is like don't let the old man in just because life is slowing down a little bit because of mobility or something like that, or maybe business. It doesn't mean that we have to quit. And the song was written, the basis of it, if you don't know about it, Toby Keith wrote this song because he sat down and had lunch with Clint Eastwood. And Clint Eastwood is still popping movies out over 80 years old, right? And they're still really good.
And kids.
And kids, right? The problem is he goes, what's your key to success? How do you keep going? He's like, I never let the old man in.
That's right.
God will take you when he's ready to take you, but you can't succumb because somebody says, well, at 80, you're supposed to do this. At 70, you're supposed to do this. At 60, you're supposed to be this way. At 50, you're supposed to be the way. If you're not there because somebody else's is, I see that all the time. Gosh, I've seen guys retire at 55 years old. Kind of wish that was guy, but I kind of don't wish I was that guy.
Yeah.
Gosh, I can't wait till I get 80 so I can go and sit around and retire. Do you really have to sit around
or
at
stop
80?
Pushing your life away, right?
Right? Do I have to okay, well, the society tells me, the charts and graphs and stuff like that's why they give life insurance at 85 years old. You've got like this percentage chances. We put that in our heads. And so 85, we're supposed to die.
No. My number is 118.
Yeah. I told Chrissy that today. It's like, she goes, the way technology and health stuff is coming around. There's all these new things. What you're doing at the wellness center is going to be a longevity of life. She goes, I don't want to see 100. I'm like, I kind of want to see it. Well, I'll give you, God, whatever you want to give me, I'll take it. It'll kind of be cool to live 100 years. It might cool be, I read in the Bible, these guys living 300, 400 years. There was a purpose behind that because they needed to stay that old to go ahead and build society.
Some of them didn't even move out of their parents' house until they were 400 years old.
Right?
That's a heck of a basement crawler there, right? So
yeah, and they're ridiculed now.
Yeah, back in the day, I used to know guys that would live in their parents' basements forever, right? And so that's why I call them a basement crawler. So
yeah, so yeah, again, we can't. Those guys that are now 60 years old still with mom and dad, maybe they know something we don't. I don't know, but I couldn't do it.
Now they say their mom and dad lives with them because they're taking care of their parents, right?
Right.
Instead of the other way around.
It's a role reversal on there. So I think that's, I really love this conversation because obviously we've gone over so many different things on here, but we can be, as I said, to graphs, conversations. I love how you went on back to your mentor, even though that people were telling you, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. And I love how you're pursuing that not to have it. Now, here's the thing to it. What you're not thinking small, but if it backfires on you, you live with the consequences, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to lose, right? Life is set up you're set up to lose. So the reality is that you get 10 losses for one win. That's just a reality. But here's what you have to say is I got 11 bats. I got 11 up to bats and I hit a home run one time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? In the World Series of life, you're a winner.
Right. I want to say this too. So those people, let's just play this scenario. Keeping the property, the rental, fails. Just do
Yeah.
not wish that on you at all. Are you, and I know what your answer is, but I'm going to ask this anyway for our audience. Are you prepared for the
Storm? Yeah.
the storm afterwards the storm afterwards saying, I told you, I wish you would have listened to me. I was right. And getting the pushback or the brushback, whatever you want to call it, to the haters. I hate using that word, but the haters saying like, God, if Brent would just listen to me, he would have saved himself so much money, or he would have made so much money. But how
Yeah.
do you know?
Yeah. You
And I
don't.
think, and I'm worried about that because we've had setbacks in our life and we don't want to taste those setbacks together. Just because you've had one setback in its closest scenario, yes, use that as a thermometer, barometer, or whatever you want to call it, about how you're going to make your decision. But don't be afraid to go ahead and just make the adjustments to make that last loss a win.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you've done. You've had some losses, and I get it, but you've taken that like, okay, this could suck if this happens, but I'm going to make this adjustment so it has a lower chance of happening. You cannot control a loss and you cannot control a win, but you can make adjustments along the way to go ahead and have a better chance of winning whatever that scenario is, right?
Agreed.
Same with relationships. You and I have come up and we dated a lot.
Yeah.
We've been married and we dated a lot, and we kind of came back to like, okay, we don't want to have this, we don't want to do this, we do this, and those are the type of relationships. And those way that we've come into met to. His wife is great, my wife is great. We've also built that into relationships as well. So, we're going to wrap it up and get out here and go ahead and live big and think small.
So, I just want to quickly wrap up before I say my phrase,
tagline.
My tagline. The other side of that coin with that statistic on podcasts, is that over 800,000 of them quit before the 10th episode.
Is that right?
Right. Before the 10th episode, over 800,000 of them quit.
We're doing good.
So I feel pretty good. We got to 11. Now we're at 36. I feel pretty good about that. So
we are winning.
That's right.
And we're going to keep winning.
And we made a difference in one person's life this week. And that was our goal, right?
Yeah.
That was our goal. One simple little thing. So
we did. So thank you for sending that text.
Yep.
We get a lot. We usually get one or two a week. So guys, keep coming in. Again, I know that some of us are not, as Brent said, we may not be technology savvy. YouTube it, how to leave a comment. It'll help you out.
Yeah.
And do some things. So, all right, brother.
Go make a
final words for you.
Just go make a damn difference.
What's big on the plate? Anything before us? I know make a go bad difference. Wellness center doing well.
Yep.
Body shop doing well.
Yep.
Okay.
I rented that rental today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And I got somebody that wants to live there. They have a 10-year plan, and I'm going to help them execute their 10-year plan while they live there for 10 years. So instead of having to flip a rental every year or two, we just signed them up today for 10 years. They're going to come in with a deposit tomorrow. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
And it's a life plan, not just a rent at my rental plan, right? It's I need to get my credit squared away. I want to be in a stable place for my kids to go to school. I want to, be close to work, and I want to do this. And it's a plan, right? It's not just a tenant. It's a life-changing plan that I've been blessed to be able to help them execute.
You need to listen to that again. There is a tremendous onion to unpeel on that. It's not so much about the transaction, is how he's going to build that relationship with that person over the next 10 years to not only help Brent get better, but help that family get better.
Well, where would I have been with that if I'd have sold the damn thing, right?
I have a feeling that Lincoln and Emma are somehow going to be involved in that transaction somewhere along the line with their family.
Yep.
And Lincoln is going to be up there. So, all right, guys. So Brent says, go make a damn difference. We appreciate it. We are in the top 10% of podcasts right now for longevity. So we appreciate that. Go out there, stop thinking small. If you're having a hard time, reach out to us. We're really easy to get a hold of. As I said, Brent Wright at Linktree, or Linktree Brent Wright.
Brent Wright. Yeah.
Everybody, sooner or later, I'm going to get on that. That's my technology breakdown. I'm pretty easy. If you see any of this stuff behind me, that's how you find me. So go out, have a great day. Love on your kids, love on your wife, love on your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever that may be.
Yeah. Everybody.
But we love you guys. Stay safe, but most of all, God bless, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Take care, guys.